37 damage? With haste? How? That's downright brilliant! I have to try that right away!
Here's resolve. There they are. Ooh, two of them. Okay, we're golden. GG, opponent. It's brilliant! Alright, today we are playing a deck I am calling Brilliant Crime, thanks to this Reenact the Crime card here from Murders of Carlisle Manor. It's 1/3 blue, exile target non-land card in a graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn. Copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. I'm sure you guys have seen this running around in the blue, black, and Sultai versions of the deck, but this is more of an addition to the shell that I'm playing today, which is a Brilliant Restoration Reanimation control deck, with a little bit of crime flavor here with the Reenact the Crime and Intrude on the Mind. Both these cards, though, have been absolute all-stars. I'm only running a couple copies of each, but we draw a ton of cards, so it is pretty consistent that we find these cards. They are really good at sniping things out of the graveyards of opposing Reenact the Crime decks, and sometimes they can just help us cast our Brilliant Restorations at instant speed by discarding them to Faithful Mending or Thirst for Discovery, and then reenacting the Brilliant Restoration at instant speed, which is really good against our control mirror opponents. We also have Intrude on the Mind, which is just really good at it kind of does double duty. It makes a creature to block. It helps put some things in our graveyard because we get to choose the piles, so we can choose the piles in a way that the artifact creatures or enchantment creatures we want to go into the yard, or force the opponent to give us a larger creature by purposely picking one card or two cards that they really don't want to give us. And then, so the deck is basically just about channeling these three cards. So that's why they're kind of over here in the 2 and the 3 slot, because we're not typically casting these for 7 mana or 6 mana. Typically, Colossal Sky Turtle is going to be used to bounce a creature to slow things down for us, to help us get to our late game. We can also use it to discard and return a card from our graveyard to our hand, which can be useful if we need to get, a Brilliant Restoration that got milled or something like that back into our hand, or maybe we need to reuse our board wipes. Basically, channeling these is all value because we want these in the graveyard. So we're either getting value by getting something back, by countering something, by ramping to make sure we're getting to our board wipes quick enough to deal with all those aggro decks. And then we've got 4 Faithful Mendings and 3 Thirst for Discoveries to help us just churn through the deck, because Faithful Mending is going to gain us some life. It's going to draw us 2 cards, help us discard 2 cards, which will help us get these guys into the graveyard, as well as find the lands and the board wipes that we need to stabilize. And just the life gain is really helpful too. And the fact that it has flashback means that we get to draw 4 cards from 1 card. Thirst for Discovery, also fantastic. It draws us 3 cards, and then we can either discard a basic or discard 2 of our enchantments that we want to get rid of. And then the glue that kind of holds it all together is the 2 Nahiri's Resolve. The goal of the deck is to get as many of these into the graveyard as possible. We have 12 of them. And then at least 1 Nahiri's Resolve, so that when we Brilliant Restoration, all these come back. They get +1/+0 in haste. And even in instances where we only get a couple of these back, and maybe it's not quite lethal, Nahiri's Resolve exiles them at the beginning of the end step and brings them back at the beginning of the next upkeep with haste. So that stops our opponent from board wiping us if we do Brilliant Restoration and only get back maybe like 2 of these with a Nahiri's Resolve. It's still quite good. And the fact that we can do this at instant speed with Reenact the Crime is just absolutely bonkers. We can just, when we get to 6 mana, as long as we have 4 blue mana available, which our mana base is very good at doing, we can Faithful Mending, discard one of our enchantments and a Brilliant Restoration, Reenact the Crime, the Brilliant Restoration, and get a full board of stuff back at instant speed. It's also been the case a few times where I've wiped the board at instant speed by discarding Sunfalls or Depopulates to the Faithful Mending or the Thirst for Discovery and then reenacting, which has been amazing against aggro opponents when they are not expecting it. And Reenact the Crime is just also really good in the control mirror or in the Reenact the Crime mirrors, because we can snipe target for their Reenact the Crime. So in those matchups, we can just kind of hold it up and wait for them to discard something juicy and snatch it for our own. And other than that, it's just board wipes and a whole lot of lands. This deck is a blast. Control decks are typically very boring to play for me. It's just counter, counter, counter. And this is sort of the same thing, you know, because we are countering things and bouncing things, but we're also drawing a ton of cards, and there's a lot of really interesting lines. And it's just a ton of fun. I have never had more fun playing a control deck, and you just got to see the games. You got to see the games. They're so good. The wins are amazing. And I really recommend trying this deck out. It's really great. So let's go ahead and get into the game so I can prove it. All right. Time to smash somebody else with a control deck. Lakester 21. Can you handle it? We get to go first. This is reasonable. Got a hedge mage to find... No, well, not a land, but that's something that we want in the graveyard, so not unhappy with that. Commune with spirits. More enchantments. Play the anchorage. We need a land, please. Weaver of Harmony for the opponent. There's a land. Thirst for discovery. See if we can find more lands. We do. Discard, discard. And we've got the populate up in case they go crazy and play a bunch of stuff here. Spirit Companion. They're going to draw 2 cards. They are going to draw 2 cards. Okay. Can live with that. Let's play this anchorage and then we'll plan on mending this turn. Let them extend their board a little further. Forest. Jukai Naturalist. And hopefully this is where they just go crazy and just start playing a bunch of stuff. Another companion. Let's see if they draw 2 here again. They do. Anything that slows them down, I am game for. So let's let them go to combat. We take 2. Gain it back. Discard Resolve and Tanuki. Everything's looking golden so far. Need 1 more land. Let's go ahead and depopulate. Slow their clock down. Then next turn we can intrude, find our last land, and restoration their face. This is like the dream game right here. This has just been super, super smooth. So we'll pass. I'm actually gonna mending. Get this mirror shell crab in the yard. Calyx. I have 6 mana, so I can afford to counter this, or at least force them to pay all their mana to get it. Cool. So that's all they're doing for the turn, which means that we are very likely to be able to just stomp over their face. Mending. Hopefully we find that last land. We don't. Ugh. We found it to populate though. Let's depopulate. We'll find the land eventually. So the opponent is going to start making a board full of spirit tokens. Spirited Companion. Wedding announcement. Beach. Alright. That's quite a board. There's the land though. That should be more than enough. They can take out like 2 of the Tanukis, but they should not be able to adequately deal with this, especially because we get to just blink it all. So they kill 1 Tanuki, they kill 2 Tanukis. They block the mirror shell crab. They lose their entire board. We still trample over for a decent amount. Yeah, they're still dead. Some part of me was like, oh, maybe they survive, but nope, just dead. Math is for blockers, right? All right, opponent. Are you ready to bear witness to my brilliance? Gene Gold 2. Wonder who Gene Gold 1 is. Are there more than 2? Opponent's going first. This is... we'll keep it. It's not that exciting. But we can channel the turtle to deal with a threat. Dinosaurs. Alright. Hasty baby Gishath. Let's play planes. That way we have Sky Turtle up. Then next turn we can play Overgrown Farmland, cycle to Nuki, and ramp up to the Sunfall. Let's bounce its Quinth. See if they play a 3-mana 6/6 here. They do. That is a pain. Let's go ahead and just channel this now because we're not doing anything else. We have double white, so let's go get another blue. Gonna take a decent chunk of damage here, but then we can Sunfall. Down to 10. Let's Sunfall first. Save the depopulate for a turn where we need to board wipe and cast something. Intrepid Paleontologist and an Exilized Lork. So we'll just probably depopulate that and get in there for 2. Depending on what our opponent does here, another is Quint. We may just intrude on the mind here. Lush Portico. Reenact Crime. I like that on top. I think we're just going to play the Greater Tanuki. We've got 7 mana, so we've got the mana to Brilliant Restoration once we get there, but we don't have enough in the yard yet. We've only got 2 if we lose this one. So, like, right now we can Thirst and... Do we have 4 blue mana? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we can Thirst and Intrude. Or Thirst and Reenact, I mean. Sorry. So we'll get in for 6. And the plan is going to be... We have Bonehorde Dracosaur. So let's Thirst for Discovery. 1, 2, 3, 4. Discard Mending and Intrude, and I guess we'll reenact Intrude. So we can get something to block this Isquinth. We want to make a 3/3, so we want them to... We want them to choose the 2 pile to give to us. Okay, they do. We want those in the yard anyway. We just need to find a way to deal with this Bonehorde Dracosaur. Reenact the crime. Alright, let's pass. do stuff on their turn. 2 lands, so they get a dinosaur. What do they play? Lonnie's Hatcher. Well, let's thirst. I'm going to decline, and we're going to discard land and Sunfall. We're going to let the Polani's Hatcher resolve, then we're going to reenact Sunfall. Instant speed Sunfall, your worst nightmare. You thought regular Sunfall was bad. Oh gosh, that just felt gross. They agree.
Oh, hey, it's you. You're here. You're watching my video still. Thank you so much for that. If you want to take a quick moment though and hit that like button and that subscribe button, you'll make me super happy, like this.
All right. Let us shine our brilliance upon our opponent. Sasquatch 636. Opponent goes first. We don't have any blue. This is terrible. This is better. Put back amending. Play Restless Anchorage. Is this enchantments? It is enchantments. Oh boy. We'll pass. See what they got. Michigo's Reign of Truth. Little mending. Discard the planes. And the crab. Wait, no, we want to keep the planes for the thirst. The beach and the crab. They smack us for 4. Well, we might be able to just kill their Weaver with this Aganjo. Tempting. Let's see what they play first. Calyx. Huge pain in the butt. Pass. Now, I hope if he doesn't play something crazier, I hope that the Calyx makes a creature copy of Portrait. He's not attacking. Weird. Probably playing around the Emperor that we don't play in our deck. Let's thirst. Discard of planes. Sunfall. That's the beautiful part about playing a blue-whitish control is they think we're playing all these staple blue-white control cards, but nope. We're just playing nonsense. Let's start getting in there for Q. Pass the turn. Got control or enchantment sitting over here doing nothing. Opponent's going to ossify our token. Go for it. You ossify that token. Let's mending. Discard crab. And in thirst. Play the anchorage. Pass the turn. We'll intrude at the end of their turn. Weaver of Harmony. We'll let that slide for now. Not that we have counterspell, not traditional counterspells anyway. Let's intrude. All right, we'll do. Tanuki and land, or 2 Tanukis and reenact. They'll probably give us the 1 in the land, but that lets us get a free 3 token out of it. And we wanted more of those in the graveyard anyway, because they don't know what we're doing yet. So attack. Pass. We don't want a Brilliant Restoration yet, even though we do have a good amount in the graveyard. We want to wait until Hallowed Haunting. That's Mending. Discard the Tanuki and a Brushland. I guess that's fine. Let's see if they have a Creature. Spirited Companion, yep. Alright, so they get a token. So if we don't find our... If we don't find our Nahiri's Resolve. There they are. Ooh, 2 of them. Okay, we're golden. GG, opponent. It's brilliant. What are you gonna do with your 1 green mana? Take your beating. They're in denial. They're like, this didn't just happen. He had nothing on the board and got 5 giant hasty creatures back. They're there too because they're touching their cards still. They really are just salt. They want us to know. They want us to know they're salty roping us. And we're back after 4 timeouts worth of salty roping. Our opponent is crushed. Joss 798. All right, let's go, Joss. We get to go first. Hooray! I like this hand. Full of goodies to channel. I love surveilling things into the yard that we want to reanimate later. Feels good. Novice Inspector. All right, so we got to be fast. Fast and furious. Let's play a Razor Ridge Thicket. We did get to go first, so there's a chance. They don't have any red mana yet, and they're playing slow enchantments. Now that enchantment's going to be very good for them in the long game. Is this just mono white? Another Novice Inspector. That's fine. I can't tell if they played that off the top of their library or not. Wasn't paying attention. Kellen, Daring Traveler. All right. Well, I really wanted to populate that stuff. So let's do it. Anything to slow them down. They can only play 1 thing off top of their library per turn. So this is basically like sometimes they're drawing an extra card. Spellbook Vendor. Cool, so we'll play an Overgrown Farmland and pass. Do we just Tanuki and start slamming big creatures? Like, that feels... We don't even have to Tanuki. We can actually just Thirst. Although I kind of want to bounce the Vendor. Alright, they put 1 on top. Let's thirst. Because if we draw like okay, so discard the planes and keep all the rest of this stuff. We'll bounce the vendor at the end of their turn. Just to take the pressure off. When it's going to draw a card. That's fine. We're just going to start slamming big baddies. Oh goodness. Alright. It's Tanuki time. Well, we are a land short from casting the Mirror Shell Crab and the Turtle, but that's okay. We can technically just channel those. Brittle Cathar. And hopefully he just plays the Spellbook Vendor into our Sunfall. We get our Tanuki back. Opponent is not risking it. So let's Sunfall. Get our Tanuki back. Opponent draws a card. How many blue do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. We only have 3 blue, so we need more blue. Or another land. Once each turn, so now they can do this twice each turn, right? Need some more thirsts. Or some more faithful mendings or something. I can get a thirst back with this colossal sky turtle. Spellbook Vendor. Draw land. So we're up to 7. So let's go ahead and play a Mirror Shell Crab. Get in there for 6. And it's like, what is this nonsense? See, sometimes we just win by casting big things. When you have 12 huge creatures to play, sometimes just casting them is really good. Brutal Cathar. That's going to cost him his entire turn. Opponent gets in. Gets another vendor off the top. Puts us down to 11. Meticulous Archive. We'll keep Thirst on top. Play another Mirror Shell Crab. Get in there for 6. Eventually we can just channel this turtle and reenact now that we've got a 4th blue. I've been loving this card in this deck. It's been so fun, especially like with all the other reenact decks going around. Being able to sometimes snatch their target has been quite amusing. Haven't caught that on camera yet. All right, so they can attack without blocking. That's unfortunate. But if they go swinging out, they're just going to die. Coppercoat Vanguard. Or We Dead. Very close. They don't attack though. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attack and I'm going to see if they want to block poorly. So they... Because I can just bounce their Coppercoat Vanguard. I bounce the Vanguard. Bounce the Vanguard. They lose both their things. We reenact the crime. Our turtle. and activate this. And that should be good enough. We got an anchorage to attack with also next turn. Like we can't block. Well, now we can. Vanguard makes their stuff too big. I feel like Vanguard and Delny are kind of a nombo. Werefox Bodyguard. That does get to snatch our token and our... No, he just takes our... What? Can you not... Is it non-token? No, he could have taken the Phyrexian token. Why didn't he? Oh well. GG's. Okie dokie. It's time to make somebody mad. Zangs. Zang, man. Opponent goes first. This is not a keepable hand. This is... we'll keep. Let's put back the Sunfall. So our plan is channel Turtle, hopefully draw land for Thirst, discard Resolve, draw some good stuff, make them cry. We'll get there. I believe in us. You can't see him. He's behind. Well, you can kind of see him. Here, hold on. You see my little dinosaur guy there? He's happy. He's excited. Is it blue-white control? We do struggle a little bit against other control decks just because they are running way more counters than us. But if we ever resolve a Brilliant Restoration with a graveyard full of good stuff against them... Alright, well, we've got a Mending. The opponent will probably counter, to be honest, but we'll see. Mending. We don't get countered. That's good. So we'll pitch the Resolve and we'll pitch the Sunfall because this is a blue-white control opponent. Sunfall's not going to be super useful against them. Play Deserted Beach. Pass the turn. We've got Restoration and good stuff in the good stuff to put in the yard. So we do have ways to Brilliant Restoration at instant speed too. So we can definitely fight control decks. It's just a little tactful. Gotta be very careful. Opponent plays land. I'm gonna go for another Mending instead of a Discovery in case they have another counter. Well, I say another counter. They haven't countered anything yet. They do not counter. We'll discard Turtle. We'll keep a Turtle in hand. And a Mending. Play the Wastes. Pass the turn. Keep this Plains in hand for the Thirst. Our opponent's gotta be wanting to Memory Deluge. Another Turtle. We'll play the Plains. Pass the turn. Alright, we're gonna risk a Thirst here. This probably gets countered. It does not. We will decline and we will pitch and pitch. Keep the forest because we need the land. Intrude on the Mind is very good. Alright, so we officially... We're one land away from doing it, but we do have instant speed Brilliant Restoration at this point. The opponent's got to do something eventually. Let's go ahead and cast Intrude. They got to counter something. They're going to counter something eventually. It's like they're just... Yeah. They're holding on to these counters. There's the land. So now we just have to wait. Mending. Turtle. Land. Thirst. Okay, so we can thirst and reenact it pretty much any time. We just gotta wait for them tap out. We'll intrude, see if they want to counter it. They do. Archive. Let's see if we can bin something else cool into the yard. I'll leave the land on top. They got to tap out eventually. Jingataxius. All right, so they're tapped out on their turn, so we're gonna thirst. Discard. No, we're gonna discard Turtle and Resto. Submit 2. Reenact the crime on Restoration. Auto pay and wreck the opponent. That's how you deal with a control deck. GG. Got him. All right, we're back for the post-game wrap. I've been iterating on this deck for quite a little while, so when you first click on the deck, ignore the matches up here, because I did have quite a few failed attempts at the deck at the beginning, but this version of the deck seems to be doing all right. We're at 55% over about 30 games. It probably could use a little bit of tweaking. I'm still trying to figure out what I could possibly tweak. Honestly, most of the games I've lost have just been to Boros on the play, and I can't get to my board wipe quick enough, or mono red on the play, or just a control deck that has all the counters that I need. The deck is just a blast, though. It's so fun. Like, even though I'm not like winning every single game, I'm winning enough games to rank up, and I'm having way more fun playing this than I would ever have playing blue-white control or Esper control. And nobody is playing this really right now, so it's fun to see how our opponents react to the choices of cards we're playing in our deck. There's a couple of games where I had people expecting Wandering Emperor and Memory Deluges and things like that, and that's just not what we're playing. So the interesting style of the deck and the fact that people really don't know what we're doing until it starts to get a little too late for them to do anything about it is a lot of fun. I think the deck is absolutely worth trying out. I don't know if I would suggest crafting it, because, you know, it's more of a fun deck, not so much a hyper competitive deck. But if you want to dunk on aggro and make other control decks, you know, frustrated, this is definitely a fun deck to do that with. So with that, I appreciate you guys' time. I had fun playing the deck for you, and I'll see you in the next one.